What's first up?
Well, I guess the first step is, has everybody received their rings? Just tell me no if you haven't. But by now, everybody should have their rings. There was a couple that have to be redone. Adrian, you need to have yours redone.
Unless they ordered in the past week. If they've ordered in the last few days, they won't have them probably.
Oh, I mean, of the original batch, right? Okay, so Edward, no. Yes, it says it's being recorded, guys. I couldn't swear that it is, but it says it is.
That's what it told me. That's why I was assuming we were on the air.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really, really funky. So we'll get through it. Hey, you know, it's just technology. Okay. So a couple people here that don't have one yet. There's somebody I ordered but didn't or don't send details. So how about for all of the ones that we've ordered and don't have, let's wait until the end to go through all those, and I'll be happy to walk you through this. So Leon, I think what we might want to do here is just do a quick recap since everybody has all four, okay? And all the videos are out. So if you'd bring up if you can, your one slide where it shows the 4 tiers. You have that slide someplace? Yes.
Hang on. Gotta get
that was the one, I think. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've got to see if I can enlarge it.
Okay.
Might have to shrink it just a little bit. Okay.
A little bit. Shrink it just a little bit more, maybe, I think. Okay, that's good. So typically, what you see when you buy a ring or an IFTTT project is most people are just connecting one to the next, 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 in most cases, okay? And what Leon has done is we've created an environment where you have actually 4 separate rings that you're working on.
Inside of one ring, yes.
Inside of the one ring. So literally, if you think about it, you're getting 4 complete rings in the one that was built. And so this graph kind of simulates that a little bit.
Well, it shows 2 of them, yes.
So you got the flicker and you have the blogger ring that's represented here. And you also have the Google Doc and you have the YouTube ring. Okay.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
I'm just trying to make this simple and clear, and correct me, Leon, because I know that you spent eons and eons and eons, and we spent a lot of time at night trying to figure this out and doing this and what was going to work.
Well, it was testing that you got to hook these things up and test them, and sometimes they just don't work.
Right.
So.
Right. So what I want everybody to just kind of take away from where we are right now, because there are some people who really don't know what we're doing or how this works. So if you would kind of just go over each of the 4 real quick as I mute out and go tell everybody to shut up.
Yeah, the big takeaway that some still don't seem to understand is that these are syndication networks. In other words, they're there for you to put your content on, and then they will do the rest themselves. Once you post to one of these 4 triggers, that's what we call them, as triggers, then the IFTTT network takes over and delivers the rest of this setup for whatever else it's going to deliver it to. So like in the case of Blogger, we just do a single Blogger post, and now it's going to take over. And if you have a 5 ring setup, this is the first ring here. So it's gonna go down to WordPress, and that's gonna go to Tumblr and Weebly. And then if you have more rings, it's gonna start going to those rings. It'll go to the Blogger on the next ring and the Blogger on the other next ring. So there's actually two sides when we go to Blogger. And so the content is just being pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. No matter what you're doing, all you had to do was one post, and now that content is just going to all of these blog networks. Plus, behind Blogger, WordPress, and Tumblr, you have some of the Web 2.0s set up so that they're going to actually receive and do their thing, so that it gives you links behind the bloggers and the WordPress and the Tumblrs. Once this content starts traveling down, it's going to go to all of these blogs, but it's also going to go to your other tiers of Web 2.0s. And so that's what this is. It's really complicated to make all of the Web 2.0s in here. It would get even messier than it already is. So that's one of your first and primary triggers, is really your blog network, because it's going to have the most links that you're going to get anywhere out of this whole system. But then,
go ahead, Patrick. I was going to say there are a couple questions, kind of surrounding that environment, and a little bit of thinking, right? So you could set this up, and you could, do your blog post and let it go. But how many of you in here have Ranking Factory? How many, better question is, how many don't have Ranking Factory? Okay. So for those of you that have Ranking Factory, you know that part of Ranking Factory's tab is the blogger right there. Okay. So that blogger on that tab is organized by the blogger emails that you have, or the Gmails that you have that are associated with that bloggers, such as what Leon is showing you there, right? Also remember, correct me if I'm wrong, Leon, but with the IFTTT ring, the way that it's designed, everybody gets 4 Gmail and 4 YouTube accounts. Is that correct?
It depends on the number of rings they bought. They'll get 1 for each ring they bought. In other words, if it's a 5-ring setup, they're going to have 5 Gmails.
Right. Okay.
If they only bought 1 ring, it's only going to be 1 Gmail.
Okay. Most everybody's buying a 3 or a 5.
So it's either 3 or 5 then.
Yeah. The point is that when you set up your RFR, like Leon just showed you, and you create your accounts in there, it's really, simple as you go through your RFR process and create your docs and create whatever it is that you're creating, to push all that information over to the blogger of that particular Gmail. And then that's going to trigger all of the processes that Leon just showed you on that ring, that blogger tier. Does that make sense to everybody? Let me know if that makes sense. So every one of your RFR blogger posts triggers this entire platform. So, what I really want you guys to do is to really think about how you can manipulate this in the best way with caution, right? Caution is, you don't want to blow up Blogger, and you want to treat it, like a really sweet thing, and just do it gingerly, and don't just keep, don't blow up 10, 15, 20, posts to your Blogger every day. You'll just destroy it, right? So does everybody understand? Use your Blogger, like you're courting, gingerly someone that you want to date. It's just the way that's the best way to handle it. Okay?
It's not like being a stalker.
Can I use Blogger in any language? Well, you can use your Blogger account for anything that you want, and with RFR, you can convert and put anything on your Blogger that's in any language that you want, right?
In other words, yes, you can post in any language you want.
Correct. Okay.
Or any language that's allowed by Blogger.
So the interesting thing here is that now with the Blogger going into the Flickr, which is the Flickr is your second tier.
No, Flickr is not going. It's not going into Flickr. Flickr is your second trigger, and
Right,
that's what we're seeing here. Is Flickr doesn't go into Blogger, it goes into WordPress. We didn't want it to go into the top tier, so we brought it in here, and it'll still go to Weebly and Tumblr, and then pass down to your other rings. Okay, but Flickr is an image system, so you have to post an image, preferably with metadata put in that image. And that's all you have to do. Once you've posted that over there in your, what's it called, photo stream or something, Patrick?
What, with Flickr, you just open up an account and
right, but what's the posting place where you put the images? Photo stream or something?
I don't know. I just put them directly in Flickr.
Right, but there's a name for it. I forget it. I think it's something like photo stream or something. But anyway, you know, that was showed in, you know, I think our first webinar, and so you need to go back if you want to see how to do that. But it's not complicated. You're just posting an image, and that image will then also be posted to your G Drive as well as to Pinterest, and then it goes through your blog system. But the only thing you're going to have on that blog is really your image and your title, okay? And so that's what it's going to show on here. But if you're doing what Patrick likes to do, which is what, Patrick?
Stuff the shit out of it.
Put metadata in your image. It's not Thanksgiving, Patrick.
Okay.
But yeah, put as much metadata in the image as possible. Then it does carry over to the drive, and I believe it'll carry through the blog system. Okay. So that's what we're looking at doing, is because we set this up as a photo post, it passes through all of these pretty cleanly. If you play with these things, some of them don't come out the way you want them to if you don't put the right kind of post in there. So yeah, it won't come out neatly. So there is the ability to do a photo post, and that's what we set up here, and in some of our other parts of this. Once we do the Flickr post, then it's going to be posting here, down, and down, and so it's going to go to all your blogs and your Web 2.0s, just like a regular blog post will, except it's skipping the blogger itself. That's the only difference. And you're getting these two on top of that. You're getting it over to your G Drive, which the metadata is carried to the G Drive, and then you're getting it over to Pinterest, which doesn't carry the metadata. Okay, so that's what we're up to with the image.
Here's a little trick that Richard and I were playing with. Okay, when it came to the images. So if you're using Flickr, which is your trigger point, okay, and you have an image on Flickr, then what you can do is you can take the image that you put on Flickr and create another image of that, a copy of that, and load it up with the URL from the file URL link that it's on in Flickr. So now you've got the Flickr link in the new Flickr metadata, and make another image, and then put that image on your Flickr, and then take that image and pull it back and take the two of those links and put in the new Flickr image. Okay, and so basically it is a process, but what you can do with that is you can literally stack your images and Flickr times Flickr times Flickr times Flickr, you know, then coming into Pinterest and G Drive and so forth. So there is a way, you know, a little tedious, but you can increase the power of those links and those stacking of those images within the Flickr folder, okay, by just taking that and kind of manually stacking those URLs on top of each other. Does everybody understand my point when I said that? Give me a 1 if you understand what I mean.
I add one word of caution though. You don't want to do like that all in one day.
No, 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 no. Everything is done in common sense timing.
Right.
Gordon, okay. So you post your image on Flickr, okay? That contains a URL link. That's where that image resides. You take that URL link and you put it now into your new image that you're going to put on Flickr in the description or the metadata of the new image. You take that and put that on Flickr. That second image you put on Flickr has its own URL. And so you keep taking the images over a period of time and just adding those to one on top of the other. So effectively you can stack your images. Okay.
Correct.
I don't know. I mean, how long do you think is a good time to wait before you do another one? It's not, one a day, two a day, three a day. It's like, one every other day.
Well,
What have you
the
seen that works solidly on?
the big thing with posting to bloggers, and we talked about this in more than one webinar, is that when you get them and they're brand new, you've got to treat them like they're a baby. So
Correct.
for the first 2 or 3 weeks, you're really not going to be posting links in your blog posts. Okay. What you are going to do is post content, and you would do that the first week. I would only post maybe 3 times a week. Maybe the next week you could kick it up to 4 or 5 times a week. Okay. But you probably don't want to really exceed 5 times a week. I mean, if you really push it, maybe in 3 or 4 weeks, you can get up to once a day. But you really don't want to be going more than that. And it's going to be the same with Flickr because it's going into your blog post. You're going to do no more, than the first week or two. You're going to do no more than 3 a week. Then after that, you can kick it up to 4 or 5 a week, which is, close to 1 a day. But you still aren't putting any links. Now, in the metadata for the first week, I still wouldn't put links. Okay. I would just leave that out for the first week, maybe, because we really don't want that showing up anywhere. After the first week, you can start adding it into your metadata. But I would actually, be conservative and take your time so that you don't get things in trouble anywhere. What blows out blogs, whether it's Tumblr, WordPress, anything, is particularly affiliate links. You just start dumping affiliate link posts onto your blogs, and you've got the affiliate link there, and it's not even covered up, with a short link or something. So basically, it's the links you're posting in there most of the time. That will end up getting your blogs in trouble. So that's why you stay away from links of any kind the first couple of weeks. You just want to post content in your blog system. And it's the same way here. We're just starting to prime the system with posts, and they need to be regular. The first week, if it's 3 times a week, and if you want to stay with that thereafter, that's fine. In a week or two after you've done that, if you want to kick it up to 5 times a week, you can do that. And then after 2 or 3 weeks, at least 2 weeks, then you can start adding some links back into what you're doing here, but make them, how would you say this, Patrick? In other words, non-affiliate type links at first. So maybe you want to have a link in your blogger.
You can have a link, linking back to your site or something,
Well,
that's related to your email account or something like that. But, it's just, you want to be very careful. That's all.
right. Link it to a video of yours, or link it to something that's less noxious. In other words, it's not going to get you in trouble. You could have a link to a doc in here. They would love that. There's just any number of things. We could even link to a slide presentation in here. There's a lot of things we could link to a G site, as long as it's not like spamming affiliate product. So the idea is to keep your links at first less noxious, for a couple of weeks, a week or two, once you start introducing links. And then you can graduate to affiliate links that are basically covered up. You don't directly put affiliate links in any posts. You want to mask the link. And so you never put a JVZoo or a WordPress link directly in your post. It's just not done. Not if you want to keep things.
No, it's all based on time, right? The longer you have it, the more you've done with it, the more freedom you have with what you can post. And I mean, some people, post 20, 30, 40 times a day, but they've had them for a couple of years.
Right. I mean, you can get there, but you're certainly not going to get there in a couple of weeks.
No.
It's not something you really want to push that fast.
So I'm getting a couple of the questions. Let me ask you this. Does everybody understand the trigger? Give me a 1 or a 2 for no. Okay.
How many 2s, Patrick?
Okay, I think we've actually, uh-oh. Would you like to know all 4 triggers? Would like to know all 4 triggers. Okay, so very, very simply, there are 4 triggers, right, Leon?
Yeah, we're showing 2 of them on this image. Blogger is 1 trigger, Flickr is 1 trigger, and then if you upload a video to the channel that is in this system, that's another trigger. And then if you use a doc, let's go over here for a second. If we use a doc, it is always slow when we're on the webinar. What happened? Can't get to it. Here it is. Okay. If we use a doc for that particular ring, we just have a, let's go over here maybe. Where's my, it's not showing my drop down. This webinar does funny stuff to these software sometimes. So anyway, my drop down isn't showing for some reason. But yeah, this webinar does funny things to these tools at times. But your doc is another trigger. And so you can go in and use any of these 3 docs we have built in RFR and select that account. And as long as you're staying within that same system, it will fire that trigger. So your triggers are basically your docs, your Blogger, your Flickr, and your YouTube account. So once you post a doc, it's going to fire off. There's going to be, I believe, 9 Web 2.0s that will go behind your doc. And then if you fire off a video, I think we have something on that here. Let me go over here. The YouTube ring will go to like 12 properties and you get 12 backlinks, something along that order. And then the blog inside of one ring goes to 17 properties and you get like 21 backlinks. The doc will do 9 properties and get 9 backlinks. And an image will go to like 17 properties on the first ring and then 18 on every ring after that. So that's what we're showing here, is just the actual blogs, but there's other properties behind these blogs. And so you're getting different numbers depending on which trigger it is, but each trigger is going to get you some extra backlinks, an extra Web 2.0 social backlinks type thing. And so that's what we're looking at, is link diversity here, as well as syndication of your content. Your content is the real issue here. Is what is it you're wanting to put out? You want to have quality content, no matter what trigger it is, whether it's a doc or an image or a blogger or a YouTube video. It's the quality of your content and then the consistency of the posting that is going to make this thing work. The two go hand in hand, is quality content and consistency of posting. What else, Patrick?
Okay. So did that answer everybody's question on that? And everybody's clear? All right, that looks good. Good, Keith. So Tim is asking us, can you review how to load the 5 rings into RFR properly? Well, I'll let you answer that.
Well,
you don't load the rings into RFR.
No, you don't. You load your Gmail account. That's all you have to do is connect your Gmail account. And I can't actually do that because they're already connected. And I
try hitting the in the top right hand corner, maybe the enlarge button or something. I think you have 2 things open.
Well, I do have 2 things open. That just makes it smaller. But my point is that I've got to get over here. You just go in here and add your Google account. That's all there is to it. It's not complicated. You put in your Gmail account with whatever the Gmail is, and then the password, and then you hit the button to add it, okay? And the software does the rest. I think at one point you have to click approve or okay once it gets to, what is
20.
it called? Well, no, I mean, your API. You've got to actually click on that API and approve it for that Gmail account before it will go on. Okay, so it reaches a point where you've got to select and approve that API to allow it for that Gmail account. But otherwise, you just let the software run, and when it finally gets to a stop, you'll see that you've got to scroll down and do an approval. Other than that, there's nothing else for you to do when you add account. It's just going to this section here to top left and adding your account, and it's just your Gmail and your password, and then you click on add, I believe it is.
Right. So then you have RFR open for that particular account, and that particular account is your IFTTT Gmail accounts that were given to you in your purchase.
Right. Inside of your spreadsheet, you'll have that information, and all you have to do is add it in there and click the add button, and it will add that Gmail account, and you just have to approve the API for that Gmail account, and then you're done. It's set up so once you've added it, it's going to be available in any of these things we do here, whether it's calendar, slides, and G sites, blogger, doesn't matter, sheets. That account is then from then on available in all of your things we do inside of RFR.
And so 2 of the 4 triggers that are in the rings can be controlled by your RFR Gmail account that you've loaded here by utilizing the Blogger and by utilizing the Google Docs. Is that correct, Leon?
That is correct, yes.
So you want to real quickly show how they could just put an article right off of Google Docs and pop it in and use it as a trigger? You don't have to go through and create an article, just a real quick process for those that haven't seen that before.
Google Docs, let's see.
How many of you guys that have RFR use the load and save feature all the time? Actually, let me ask, is there anybody that doesn't use it?
I don't know why not. Basically, like I said, I'm not seeing all my features here because this webinar is messing it up right now with this new version I'm running. But basically, you would go in and we don't even have the title section here. That new upload. Well, that new upload Chris did today, that may be the problem. I haven't actually checked it out beforehand.
Okay.
So that might be the issue, Patrick. I'm not sure.
I understand.
I have to check outside of the webinar to find out. But you would have a title section up here, put your title in, and then you put the link you want to target, and then you have your main anchor text and your secondary anchor text. And let's go over here. If you use spin text, you can put that in and hit spin, and then it will come over here and your article is created, and then you come down here and you put in whatever description or keywords or whatever you want to do to stuff this thing. That's, you know, it's not your article. This is your article. Okay. And so once you click upload, then that's going to upload to whatever account you have selected. And so that may be, like I said, the issue right now is I've got a brand new version and it may not be, you may still have a bug in it. But that's all there is to it as far as an article goes. You can just, and you can use any of the other three. You've got your keyword doc, you've got your buffer doc, if you'll ever get over there. Buffer doc, you put an article in, put your description in and your target URL, and hit upload. And so this will be a raw link. It won't be anchor text like it is over in the article stack. And then your keyword doc is anchor text, but you in that one, so you just put keywords in a file description. You don't actually put an article in. So any of these you use to build a doc is still going to get the article over to your G drive. And so that's what you're after as far as a trigger goes, is putting quality content over on your G drive. So that would be the doc trigger.
Okay. There's a lot of different ways of using, you know, the docs in order to do this, but you know, one of the things you mentioned last time, Leon, is you prefer to do it one specific way because of the way that the document and the links in it are being handled. Is that correct? Something of that nature?
Well, yeah, with the with this particular what we call article stacker, if we set it up, we could actually do 5 articles all at once, and then you're going to hit all of your Web 2.0s with 5 docs, you know, simultaneously, and so it's going to be running back to back to back to back to back through IFTTT, and that's going to be overload on your Web 2.0s and running them through IFTTT that quick. So for the, if you're going to use the article stacker and you've got this set up with the new rings, I would only do 1 article, and then you could switch accounts and go to a drive that doesn't have the Web 2.0s behind it, and then you could do an article stack. And you could take that uploaded URL and then take it over to that and use it as the target. So you would actually get like 6 tiers that way, 5 behind your actual main document, and then the document itself is going to actually be pointing to something. So you would have 6 articles stacked, plus you would get your Web 2.0s behind that first article.
So maybe in the coming weeks, we might be able to really kind of take one of these ideas and just drill down and do it recipe style over the next couple of weeks, if we get time to do that. But yeah, that's the way that you like to do it, because you want to make sure you don't overpower, you know, what you're building through that tier. Is that right?
Well, through your IFTTT rings, you don't want to overload the system too quickly, too fast.
Right.
You know, it's like trying to run too many posts on your blogger in one day. You're going to start losing your Web 2.0s just the way you would start losing your blog accounts. And so you don't want to run too many back to back to back docs on that G drive in one day. It's just not a good practice when you've got these type of accounts. Now, I know most people that have these all have Gmail accounts that don't have the Web 2.0s behind it. So all you have to do is switch over to one of those drives and use that if you want to do an article stack.
Right. You know, also, there's the PVA factory. So if you want to get a bunch of cheap aged Gmails and, you know, start to see if you can load those up into RFR, they're like $2 a piece. We have found in the past that the ones that we use, sometimes we can load up through the API and sometimes we can't. It just depends on what Google happens to be doing at the moment. But I have quite a few of them that have loaded up there that have been authorized, you know, through the source that we use. And, you know, that can actually give you, you know, more firepower along the way as well. Tim is asking us, the brand one ring will auto post to the 4 personas. Then if we add the Gmail of a persona ring, will only post to its own ring.
Well, yes, sort of. Each Gmail you have will post to whatever ring it's set up in, and then from there it will continue on down the network as well. So if you're into these other levels below that, and you're using this Gmail to post to this blogger, it's only going to go down this one leg. If you're over here, it's going to go down this leg, okay? And then if you're on the last one, it's only going to do the ring itself. So you actually have 2 legs, and now it's reducing the numbers that it's going to post. But yeah, your ring, wherever you start it, it's going to finish out whatever's left.
Okay. There's great questions here. How does image come to Flickr when I use RFR drive photos with the Google accounts for IFTTT?
I'm not following the question, I guess.
Well, I guess the question is, he's using his Google Drive, but you can use your Google Drive photos, you know, where you would like to, but it's not going to trigger anything. So you have to go set up a Flickr account, correct?
Well, no, the accounts come already set up with these.
Well, I mean, they're set up within the system, but you still have to, through the IFTTT process, go create the account, is what I'm trying to say.
Right, but it's a trigger in itself. You can't load it here and trigger the Flickr. You've
Right.
got to be in the Flickr and upload your image.
Correct. Okay. So you go to each ring and post an image to each Flickr account, to the trigger, each ring, etc., with Docs, YouTube, and Blogger.
No, we've already defeated that because we don't want you overloading that with the same image going down this whole network. So other than the first ring, your Flickr will not go to any of these other rings. So that's just out. We didn't want to make everything just crash. So you can post to these other Flickrs, but once you do, it's only going to go to the G Drive and the Pinterest on these second and third tier rings. So, you know, it's fine to post to them, but it's not going to post to your blog system. We prevented that.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you can't take that image and post it as an image in your blog. It's Blogger itself. That's fine. But it's not going to.
We don't want duplicate posts in there, Patrick. That's why we took it out. If each person took the same image and went to all of these different blogs, then we would just have the same image being posted over and over and over, and that's going to get in trouble.
If they use the image duplicator and have 25 multiplications of the same image in there, they're getting different metadata. So either way, you can use your own discretion on how you want to use it. So Mike is asking, what if you have a stuffed image from Flickr in your Blogger post? Does that ignite a viral spiral?
I am lost. I have no idea what.
I'm not sure I understand.
We've already explained that it goes down the Blogger network, just like any post we post here.
Right.
It's going to go on down the network. So I don't understand what your
spiral, but it does go down.
Spiral. it just posts the content down the network.
Right. So Steve is asking, so is the strategy to link everything back to blogger number one and link that to a money site?
There can be many strategies. I'm not sure how you're linking back to blogger number one. But blogger number one can be the buffer to your money site. It's an option, just the same as using a buffer doc or a keyword doc. Go ahead, Patrick.
I say a G site is another buffer, right?
No, yeah, there's many buffers, but I'm not sure what you're referring to as far as linking back to your main blogger. That's the real question. Is I'm not sure where you're getting that from or what you're trying to do.
I think that the confusion might lie a little bit here in the fact that we have 4 triggers. They're going down. You know, you'll have over 200 some odd different properties we're going to link to, and they're not linking back to the blogger. The blogger is just one street that you go down to accomplish your goal, right?
Well, it's just one content post.
Correct.
You know, that content post can link to somewhere. You know, obviously, if we put a link in this top blogger, it's going to go somewhere, whether it's to your site or to a video or to something else. That is an outbound link. From there on, all of these other bloggers are basically copying what your blogger did. And the way it's set up in these through IFTTT, they're giving credit to the original blog post. So basically they are linking back because they're giving credit to the original blog post. But that's the whole point of this system, is it pushes juice up to this top blogger.
All right, great. I'm going to have to kind of read this one slowly from Jan. Is it's any sense to add 5 rings to 2 years review affiliate websites with social media like Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, Pinterest, and others? These 5 rings don't kill this website with potential backlinks.
Well, I don't see the point in adding them to it. You can take those whatever you want and post it through your network anytime you want. So there's no real connection needed to your site. So I don't, and it won't go back and do previous posts. So there's no way to do that. But I never connect these rings to an actual site. I use them independently. That way I can put the content in there that I want. And if I don't want, I don't have to put that content in there.
Okay. Can we go in and post to any of these sites without using the trigger?
If you're posting to any of these blogs, it's going to fire off the rest of the chain.
Right.
Unless you're at an endpoint like Tumblr, you know, there's no more blogs behind it, but there are Web 2.0s behind it. So it's going to post to those. That's, you know, the endpoints you could post to. But other than that, it's going to continue down the rest of the chain, whatever the chain is that's left.
So let's say, for example, you know, you have your ring and you have your triggers, but you have your VAs. There's no reason why you can't have your VA log into any one of the properties and utilize it as, you know, just more content and more linking to what's below it, like Leon said, right? If you have somebody go to Blogger Ring 4, you can see what's going to happen. If you have somebody go, to Weebly Ring 2 over there on the left, nothing's going to happen, but you can post on Weebly Ring 2. So by utilizing the flow and knowing where you're going, you can get extra mileage out of this by utilizing it, very robustly, but not overutilization, but, periodically, putting additional information in those particular web 2.0s that you want and beef it up a little bit. You don't have to just always wait for your trigger. You can have your VAs do other things along the way, but very slowly and methodically. And, just letting you know that you can do that, because the question was asked, can I do that? And yes, you have logins to every single one of these, right?
You can log into anything that you get. It's all yours.
Right.
The other point, which we haven't really gotten around to, and some other issues that we were probably going to cover at some point, is that it's a good idea to independently go into your other bloggers and have separate content for these different blogs, so that they're not all look like they're putting the same content out. Go into your blog here and put unique content, and then it will pass to these. But because they're all together, that's not going to look funny. But if you just leave it up to here, yeah, it does start to look a little odd, and they catch on to that. But if you independently put unique separate content to each of your bloggers on each of your different Gmails, it's a good idea to help build out those blogs to increase their PA and stuff. You want to increase their independent PA. Otherwise, it's just going to be your ring 1 that really gains the most power, and the others are going to be not as powerful.
Okay. It's all great questions. What about European regions? Yeah, Edward, we let you know that you can use any language you want. It doesn't matter. You can actually take your English and do translations to any language that you want and post it that way too, which is another way of.
It's just like putting up videos. You can actually, there's software out there, and you could translate your videos into other languages and post them on YouTube. So you can post in any language you want with any of this, whether it's Docs, Blogger, YouTube, whatever language you want to use.
I'd actually recommend you do that.
Yeah, in some cases. If you're in Europe, then we can actually, I think, probably have them give them the information of the country you're wanting to set these up in, and I believe they will set them up in most any country. And so then it would be behoove you to use the language of that country.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what else we got coming in. Lots of dings coming in. Okay, on a 5-ring setup, we post to 4 Flickr accounts, 1 on each ring.
Well, if it's a 5-ring setup, you're going to have 5 Flickr accounts.
Yeah, Adrian, if it's 5-ring setup, it's going to be 5 Flickr accounts. All right. So over the course of time, we're going to be looking for people to share some of their recipe successes, how they're setting theirs up, because this is definitely a how long is a piece of string situation.
Exactly. These only get better the more you use them, and so it's like we said in the beginning here, it's your quality of content plus the consistency of your posting that content that is going to make these better over time.
Right. All right. Trying to get here to the end. Scott's going to do some testing on metadata caption. Let's see, Keith. No links, as in no links at all, or no affiliate link. Oh, Keith is asking, like, when you're warming it up, when you said no links, can you define what you mean by no links?
NOLINKS.
Yeah,
No,
but
no links, no links. That's it. It's that simple. The first
but when
week or
you
two,
start
there
the,
should not
put,
be any links of any kind in your blogger post
for how long?
for 1 to 2 weeks at least.
Okay.
You want to build content that's not going to be threatening to your blogs. And so if you start putting links in there, that's the one thing that will get your blogs killed really fast. And so if you add links too soon, too early, yeah, you're going to trash the whole system and you're going to be left without a network. And you're going to have
By the way,
to
that's nothing new. That's been going on for a very long time, guys.
exactly, that's the whole purpose of this is to get you a system that will work. You have to be able to baby it when you start out. Like we said, treat it as a baby. Don't treat it as an adult. Post quality content with no links for the first 2 weeks.
Okay. Let's see. So you go to each ring and post an image to each Flickr account to trigger yes. For that
Well, no and yes.
trigger, it will work.
You really only need to go to the Flickr in the main ring, and that's going to post to the blog system. If you go to Flickr and any other ring, it's only going to post to G Drive and Pinterest.
Okay. Would it be a good idea to run a stack to the last or bottom property, in this case to WordPress ring 3?
No, I'm not really clear on
In
what a
other words,
stack
you run
is.
the whole thing down, and then you take the last URL from the last WordPress ring 3 and take that and put it back into your next document on top and start all over and stack that last one in your new WordPress, your new post. Because I think that's what he's saying. So you take all the stuff on the bottom and add it to all the stuff on the top, so it filters all the way down to the bottom. So you're continually stacking your links along the way.
Well, normally you only want one outbound link on your blogger. And if you're taking the bottom one, then you're just recycling it and there's no real purpose because the juice is going to go up once you post to this, the links are actually posting up as far as pushing the juice this way. If you go down here and take this and recycle it, it's just pushing it up to itself and there's no point. It's not getting out to anything.
Okay.
You don't really want to have too many links in your blog post. So you typically only have one outbound link. And so that's what you're doing here. All these other blog posts will give credit to that one. And so taking this one, you wouldn't take it to Blogger, you would take it to your RFR and start building links to it, just like you would to all of these blogs, especially the Blogger and the WordPress. You want to build links to all of these to start adding power to the system.
Sorry. Okay, I know you don't have the you don't have the YouTube slide, right?
There really is no YouTube slide yet.
Okay. So explain how I use video to IFTTT from YouTube.
Really pretty simple. You go over to YouTube and you upload your video.
Okay, and then what happens?
Then IFTTT will take it from there.
And then
Once
what?
you've uploaded a new video to your system and made it public, has to be a public video, then
Okay.
IFTTT will create the backlinks behind that video. There's nothing else for you to do but upload the video. It's just like any trigger. You just have to complete the trigger. Just like in Blogger, you have to create an entire post on Blogger. That's the trigger. Once you've done that, you're done. Everything else takes care of itself. Flickr.
Are there any properties underneath the YouTube trigger?
Yeah, there's several properties underneath YouTube. It's, we talked about that on this other deal here. Let's see.
Well,
YouTube
remember,
will have
some people
about
are here
12.
that didn't see that. That's why we want to ask the question.
YouTube Ring will have about 12 properties or 12 backlinks, something like that. So once it's fired, it will go off to 12 of the Web 2.0s in that particular ring. Now you have YouTube accounts on each ring. And so anytime you upload to these other accounts, they're going to get backlinks behind them too. So it's the same on any ring as far as YouTube is concerned. You're going to get those triggers.
So all you have to do is upload it, and whatever is built beneath that, it's going to automatically take care of that for you. Is what Leon is saying.
Right. It's just like there's automatic links behind Blogger. There's automatic links behind WordPress and the Tumblr. So each of these things have some Web 2.0 links behind it. And it's the same with YouTube. It's the same with, you can see the ones with Flickr here, but it's once it gets to the drive, I don't remember all that. Anyway, your Google Doc will actually have, I believe, 9 things behind it, and so it's going to fire off. So anytime you put up a doc, it's just going to be like YouTube. You're done, and IFTTT takes care of the rest.
Okay, well, let's go back to Flickr for a second. My question about Flickr is, do we post a unique image on each Flickr account in each ring, or do we just post the brand ring Flickr account and not the others?
You would never post this. You would never post the same image to all of your Flickr accounts. That's just, it's not a good idea. The only Flickr account that's going to post to your blog system is in the tier 1. You can certainly post to these others, but use a different image. That's why we eliminated the possibility of those other Flickrs posting, so you're getting duplicate content over and over and over and over. We don't want duplicate content. In other words, the same image just hitting those blogs over and over and over again. It just doesn't look good. And so basically, yeah, we eliminated that process. If you want to post to your other Flickrs, use a different image.
Stuffed image.
Right. I mean, there's no reason not to stuff it. But my point is, don't use the same image.
Yeah.
Multiple times. It's just not a good process.
Okay. So here's a question that some people might be thinking, and it's an interesting way to you to answer this would be, why wouldn't you choose to have the initial trigger be the money site? I know it's many times preferable to have a buffer site, but it helps to establish the entity brand. So why would you not have the money site as the initial trigger?
Why would I want to? I mean, there's no real purpose in it. You can take that content whenever you're ready and post it to your blogger. If you want to post that actual content, I prefer to do it independently and separately so that I can control when it goes out, as well as I can control what's in the blogger. It doesn't have to be the same as what's on your site to link to your site.
Right.
And so when you're getting unique content, that's rather important when you're actually trying to work on a site. You don't want something else just, posting your site content over and over and over. You actually want different unique content set up on your blogs compared to what's on your site.
So I think maybe a simpler answer might be that the IFTTT network and all the triggers and all the things that we're doing are designed in its design base to boost and beef up your money site or wherever you're pointing that to.
Right.
Right.
That's the whole purpose. Is this can be pointed at anything.
Right.
It can be a money site. It could be a G site. It could be pointed at a video. There's just any number of places to point it at. But if you set it up for just your money site, then you're stuck just doing that, and then you still are just printing the same content as the money site. Here you can put unique content in and have it look different than your money site. It's pretty simple.
Okay. Let's see, where are we here? We have a couple more. These are great questions, guys. Thanks a lot. That means that you've been in here, you've been playing with it. You have thought processes about what to do. Simon is asking, what success have you had with these rings? Let me just say that we have had a number of people reply back to us that, you know, they're seeing movement, they're seeing, you know, some results with these. And in the very beginning stages, you got to remember, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of, you know, movement. But when we consider RFR, okay, and you look at all of the various tools, the calendars, the sheets, the docs, the HTML, the stacks, and everything else that we do, they're all just, each one of them is just one screw in the screw box. And in order, you know, to put that window pane in, you need multiple screws. But every single one of these is attributing to something for that site to be better ranked, you know, get more views. And so it's really kind of difficult to say, you know, intuitively and you know, from a mathematical perspective, that you did the IFTTT and it moved, but there's not very many of us that are using the IFTTT that are not doing something else. So the only way to qualify that would be to have a brand new site, do nothing to it, and run an IFTTT network on it to actually see that specific result, which I have not done. But we are having a lot of people that are sending back, you know, notices that, you know, they've instituted it and they're, you know, they're seeing a change. And that was back in the old IFTTT version 1 network too, and this is much better. So I hope that, you know, answers your question, although I didn't really answer it, but hopefully I did.
Well, people are commenting in the room too that they're seeing things improve through the use of that with the new rings. So it isn't just the old ones, but yeah, this one is much better. The blog network is basically the same. We've just added on 3 extra triggers and updated all the Web 2.0s, which we lost a number of Web 2.0s in the old ones, so they're just not there anymore. You know, we can get into that whole discussion all over again. But yeah, basically it has to do with you and the quality of your content and the consistency of your posting that content. You know, that's the key behind all this. You know, whether you're posting to your blog or not, are you going to take that blog post and then run some things from RFR to that blog post? Most of us do. You know, it's not a simple matter of just posting a blog every 3 days, you know, every 3 times a week. There's a lot of other things you go and do, just like Patrick was saying. We don't just sit there and wait for the blog post once and we're all done. We go and do a lot of other things. So it's a matter of posting your quality content on a consistent basis and then following up with whatever you choose to do.
Yeah. All right, cool. I think one of the things that would help out, Leon, is if we take your diagrams and send them and we put them into the IFTTT support document so that we can have the these images in there so it's visual for everybody to see. So we can try to get that done in the next couple of days for everybody.
Sure.
Ms. Rickard is asking, I assume it should be original content, not spun content.
It's funny because, I mean, once you've got the content, it's yours and you can do with it whatever you want. Most of us use spun content. There's nothing
Yeah,
really.
I don't think that there's a golden rule that says don't use spun content, but
No, there isn't. And
might want to have a golden rule that says use really, really, really good content to start with, to spin with. So,
well, that the key is spinning it and then checking your content, because I don't care what spinner you use, it's going to screw something up somewhere. So you got to go in and eyeball that thing and check it out and make sure you're going to get quality spins off of that spun content. So it's a matter of knowing how to do spin content. But there's nothing wrong with spun content. I use it all the time.
right. So let's say your money site is your GMB. Can you use the IFTTT network that we're building here, V2, to boost your GMBs?
That's not something I can directly answer because I never play with GMBs.
Well, the generic answer is it's a property that's getting more juice than it wasn't before from quality sites and quality backlinks. So, you know, test it and just do one directly to the GMB, into the GMB business website, and, you know, see if it is. I mean, we've had people say yes, that it has helped their GMBs boosting. But, you know, once again, I don't know exactly what they did in terms of the IFTTT and how they set up their images or whatever. But, you know, there's no reason in the world why it wouldn't help your GMB at all. How does this work with sheets? Well,
sheets are behind two of the Web 2.0s, so you are going to post to sheets depending on what you're doing. Flickr itself won't post to sheets, but some of the Web 2.0s behind some of our blogs will post to sheets, and the same with putting up a YouTube video. YouTube video will get to those Web 2.0s, which will post to sheets. And I think docs might hit one of them. But yeah, sheets are used in this whole system. It's just one of the Web 2.0s that we refer to. So we actually get more than a single tier behind stuff. In a lot of cases with our Web 2.0s, we're going 3 tiers. So it's a matter of we're going a little deeper because we put it behind everything for a reason, and that reason is our backlink factory. If we didn't, we could just blow out all these Web 2.0s. And so it's at an endpoint in itself, and we put nothing behind it, but it is used in the whole system.
okay, here, this isn't a question, but you want to learn more about IFTTT, there's more free learning available at YouTube. Search for how does IFTTT work. Thanks, Scott. It's going to give you, it's not going to tell you how our IFTTT works, but it'll tell you how the premise of IFTTT does work, right?
Yeah, most of those videos are old.
Okay, so Gordon's asking, is the WordPress blog in Ring 1 the same as your money site, or is your money site a different WordPress blog?
These WordPress sites here have nothing to do with your money site. These are your free WordPress sites. You're totally independent of your money site.
They're not, and I don't know, Leon, but are they like regular WordPress sites?
They're not a self-hosted site.
Right.
They're called free WordPress site because that's just it. You know, WordPress is hosting these sites, not you. And so you can put content on them just like any other blog. So, WordPress, it's not self-hosted. It's not your site. It's a free WordPress site.
Okay. All right. So did you guys find this helpful? Should we kind of like revisit this, once every 2 weeks and, come back with more questions and answers and recipes and things that we're working on, or everybody got a really good handle on it? Can I use big content and spin that? What's big content? I don't know what big content is, but sure. Anybody know what big content is? I don't know what big content is.
Not me.
I just know that, the last week I've done multiple demos on Content Factory, and with the new way that Content Factory is pulling out image or content and articles and stuff like that. If you guys have Mastermind and Content Factory or have Content Factory, I think what I'll do next week is we'll just do a demo on Content Factory to show everybody the new features of it. How many of you guys in here are using Content Factory right now? Just give me a 1 if you are. 2 if you don't think, if you don't even know what it is. Okay. Okay. All right. I think it'd be a good idea if I, do a webinar next week on it for everybody. And Birgit, call me and I'll run through it and show you what you're doing wrong, because it's actually working beautifully. So Skype me afterwards and I'll be happy to run a demo directly for you, okay? Discussion for rings, I believe, is over. Most of the YouTube tutorials on Content Factory are old, just like the developers. Ha, 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 ha. I know somebody that just lost all of his accounts. How about that?
Yeah, it's getting dangerous in here.
I'm telling you, wicked, wicked. Let's see. Oh, I got to bring out the riot controls. All right, I got shields. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Scott. Probably they are old ones in YouTube, so we should do a new one, and we'll get some new stuff up there, and Karen can post that one day next week. We'll do this, okay? All right. I don't see any other questions. Are there any discounts over? No, I extended the coupon codes on the buy page for IFTTT. So those coupon codes are now working again. Okay. Okay. Bern is asking, why don't you make a script how to start with IFTTT rings in steps, maybe a PDF. Well, we can take a look at doing that for you. Karen's really good at doing stuff like that, so he loves to make tutorials. All right, good. Thanks for coming, guys. Sorry about the initial faux pas. We live in a world where Zoom works and sometimes it doesn't, and some of these other programs are getting so taxed that, I find that I'm not sure whether it's me and I don't need anybody to answer that, actually. That's the problem, or the systems are the problems. But Did everybody find today helpful? Give me a 1 if you found this helpful today, and give me a 2 if you guys are happy with what you're getting back. Would you like to see it faster? You have to remember it's only done by hand. It's not a mechanical process. So it does take a little bit of time. So patience is appreciated on our part by you guys because it does take a while to build all these by hand. I'm happy with my ring. I love my ring. Great job, Patrick and Dr. Leon. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, share your experiences around the rooms with your rings. I'm going to leave the coupons open till the end of June, and I'll have to go double check them to make sure that they're working properly. So I will check that this afternoon for everybody, okay? Thank you very much. Have a great, great weekend. See you tomorrow for something. We're doing something tomorrow. I forget which, but we're doing something. Have a great day. Leon, you might have to cancel the
Okay, I'll see what it says here.
turn it off.
Let me see.
I can do it.
It's working?